We are working through our heart attitudes. These are so crucial to the life of our church. These are so crucial. And this is another one that is oriented around how we relate to each other. And this might be the one that gets the most use in our life. This heart attitude number 4, is clearing up relationships with each other. We need to clear up relationships because we are constantly hurting or offending each other. So a couple of key verses. Romans 12:18. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. And then Matthew 5:9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the sons of God. This is what we want to do. We want to apply these verses and a few more to our life. Because there are different paths that we can take, and we do take. There is a path to conflict, and there is a path to peace. The path to conflict is described in James chapter 4, verses 1 and 2. What causes quarrels and fights among you? We have quarrels, we have fights, we have arguments. So here's the question. What causes this among you? Don't they come from your desires that battle within you? You want something, but you don't get it. Thus, you argue and you fight. One way to picture what's going on here is to think of these 3 core things. I want what I want. I think I deserve to have it. And I will do whatever it takes to get it. That's what this verse is saying. I want what I want. I think I deserve to have it. And I'll do whatever it takes to get it. That is self-centeredness working full time. That is the path to conflict. The path to peace involves a few things. For one, in the midst of this moment, it involves us changing our focus. When you're in a conflict, wouldn't it just be great if you could push the pause button, step back, and take a look at what you're focusing on? If you could just pause the whole scenario, the whole situation. If you could, you would probably see that you're focusing in on your selfish desires, on your interests, on that, I want what I want, and I think I deserve to have it, therefore I'm going to do whatever it takes to get it. When we do that, we need a change of focus. Change your focus from what you want to what the other person wants. Put their interests above your own. Put their concerns above your own. Listen to what's going on in their life. Listen to this verse. Why do you notice the little piece of dust in your friend's eye, but you don't notice the big piece of wood in your own eye? First, take the wood out of your own eye. Then you will see clearly to take the dust out of your friend's eye. This is a really clear description of what we do. In the midst of a conflict, we have a piece of dust in our eye, but a log in our eye, but the other person only has a piece of dust, but we don't see it that way. We need to change our focus. Have you ever gotten involved in one of those arguments where you're pointing out the wood in the other person's eye, and the argument is just escalating? It's going bigger and bigger. That's not a good way to live. That's not a good way to relate. Jesus is saying, before you even begin, stop and take a look at yourself. Ask yourself, is there something that is keeping me from seeing clearly? Is there something that is blocking my relational vision? See, it's easy to look at other people and see their problems. It's easy to look at other people and see their issues, see what's wrong in their life, and at the same time, overlook what's in ours. We need to change the focus and be concerned about them. A second thing that we need to do, choose self-control. Ephesians 4:31 says, stop being mean, bad-tempered, and angry. Quarreling, harsh words, and dislike of others should have no place in your lives. This verse helps us recognize our own weak, self-centered nature and how we should respond, how we would respond if we were responding like Jesus. If we were reflecting the character of Christ, we would be living out the next verse, Ephesians 4:32. Instead. So instead of being mean, bad-tempered, angry, quarreling, harsh words, and dislike, instead of that, be kind to each other, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, just as God has forgiven you because you belong to Christ. If you have committed your life to Christ, then God has forgiven you for what you have done, for what you have said, and we need to live out of that place of forgiveness. And we need to extend forgiveness to others. And we need to choose self-control because our selfish nature wants to move us in the direction of being mean, bad-tempered, angry. And the Spirit of Christ wants to move us in the direction of being kind to each other, tender-hearted, forgiving of one another, just as Christ has forgiven us. So instead of being mean, be kind. It's an exchange. It's a trade. Instead of being mean, be kind. Instead of being bad-tempered, be loving and patient. Instead of being angry, be forgiving. Be kind, be loving, be patient, be forgiving. That would radically change your relationships. Now, I know we all struggle with this because it's a part of our nature. It comes out of our self-centered, selfish nature. It comes out because we want something and we don't get it. I want what I want. I think I deserve to have it. It's coming from that battle that is going on within each of us. You know, sometimes when you know you're losing an argument, isn't it interesting how many times you will bring out the big artillery? That thing you've been saving in the back, that secret button that you push that just explodes everything. Sometimes what happens is we elevate our volume. Have you noticed in an argument, the volume starts to rise? You say something a little bit louder, they say it a little bit louder. It's pretty funny. It reminds me of a Peanuts cartoon. Lucy, in this Peanuts cartoon, when she was talking, she said this: if I can't be right, I'm going to be wrong at the top of my lungs. And you can picture Lucy screaming that out because she wanted to win. Now, sometimes we do that. Sometimes we have the philosophy that it's win at all costs. I just need to win. We need to choose self-control. Choosing self-control is about getting your attitude right, getting it set in the right direction. You have to get your life, your attitude, your heart right first. Before you can make something right with another person, you have to make it right within yourself. After you've done these two things, then and only then are you ready to deal with the other person. The next thing that you need to do is to go and make peace. Matthew 5:23 and 24 says, so when you offer your gift to God at the altar, and you remember that your brother or sister has something against you, leave your gift there at the altar, go and make peace with that person, and then come and offer your gift. It is amazing to me that God values our relationships. He values them so much that even in the midst of our moment of worshiping Him, giving an offering to Him, He pushes the pause button. He wants us to pause, leave our gift at the altar, go and make it right, go and make peace, and then come back and worship Him from a clear heart, from a good relationship with those that we are in relationship with. We need to recognize that conflict is not resolved accidentally. It's not resolved haphazardly. It takes us being intentional. It has to be deliberately dealt with. It's go and make peace. Don't just wait until they come to make peace with you. You go and make peace with them. And a couple things it's not. This is not go and make excuses. This is not go and make your point. This is not go and try to win the argument again. It's go and make peace. Make the relationship right. As we live life with God, one of the ways that we honor God is by honoring the relationships that we have with each other. and keeping those relationships clear. Cleaning up what gets messed up. Whether I mess it up or you mess it up, it still needs to be cleaned up, and we need to take the initiative to do that, to do it deliberately. If someone has offended you, then your best choice is to go and clear up the relationship. If you have offended someone, your best choice is to go and clear up the relationship. Make things right. You need to go and overcome any inconvenience that you are feeling. Anything that might feel like this is just going to be too hard to talk to that person. That relationship is so important. It's important to the two of you, and it's also important to everyone that you live life with. It's important to your entire church family. That's why we need to try to do this. Remember these key verses, Romans 12:18. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. It has to take some effort to find out if it's possible. But if it is possible, you live at peace with everyone. And then that verse in Matthew 5:9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the sons of God. We are the sons and daughters of God, and we need to live like it in such a way that others call us the sons of God. Others recognize God in us. One of the ways they recognize that is by how we do life with each other. That we keep our relationships clear and right, that we're living at peace with one another. So when we have a conflict, we need to go and make that right. And when we have a conflict, when somebody comes to us because we didn't recognize it, we need to be willing to make that right and receive what they have to say. We need to live life in such a way that we have clear relationships. That will make life meaningful for all of us. Let's go about living life in such a way that God is honored, that people are honored. That would involve us keeping clear relationships.